Welcome back everyone to Pineleaf Plays the Rune-keeper. This time I'll be staying on my regular character, but I will talk to Skygni to finish out this quest.
Dwarves must fight for dwarves.
Though Nain and his kinsmen stood against the great evil that slew Durin, they did not stand long. Nain was killed by the shadow the following year, and the dwarves were forced to abandon Khazad-dûm. Many of the Sylvan elves departed Lothlorien in anger and fear, flying southward and cursing the dwarves as they went. Thank you for listening to this tale, my friend. You see now the importance of this expedition to my people. Fall of Moria, gain of a level. Alright, let's head into the Chamber of Crossroads, and I'll return when we get there. We are halfway to the Chamber of Crossroads, and this is the Scholar resource instance where we could go in for our daily set. I thought maybe we could try this before getting all the way into the Chamber of Crossroads. So let's talk to Dari here.
Abide here a moment and speak with me.
Greetings, traveler. I am Dari of the Iron Garrison. I have been sent here to evaluate the state of the library of Mekib-Faham and recover any lost knowledge that may yet be found there. I have had difficulty setting foot within the library, however. Something inside is organizing or influencing the rest. If its leadership is broken, the rest of those within will fall easily afterwards. Go, enter Mekib-Faham and confront whatever passes for a leader inside. I don't care how you do it, short of setting the place ablaze. It's a library, so you don't want to set it ablaze, of course. And the Iron Garrison has created a diversion, drawing the bulk of the intruders from the depths of Mekib-Faham. They are permitting you access for 1 hour, during which time you may enter and exit Mekib-Faham freely to complete the tasks bestowed upon you. However, after the hour has passed, the Iron Garrison can no longer guarantee your safety and thus will bar access until they can once again muster an offensive to draw the enemy from Mekib-Faham. This is basically saying you can only go in there once a day during an hour timeline. And you're given 3 different tasks within it, and the reason why they give it to you vaguely is because we don't know what type of intruders there are that are selected at random.
We have little time to speak. Great events have been set in motion.
The Iron Garrison's chief interest in this place is the recovery of ancient stratagem and tactics. Building plans, too, are of interest. But so far in my research, I have seen far too little of these, and not enough of the vain, creative offerings. Does that sound queer to you? That there would be interest in prose from someone of the Iron Garrison? It isn't queer at all. Not all of us hunger for swift and violent reclamation of Khazad-dûm. Some of us seek to reveal the new discoveries and enjoy the art of prose that are long past brethren. You notice it's prose and not poetry that they're seeking. Tells you about dwarves. And when scholars attack...
We have little time to speak. Great events have been set in motion.
Greetings, good traveler. My name is Dari of the Iron Garrison. I was sent here by the Iron Garrison to safeguard Mekib-Faham against the intrusion of orcs and beasts alike. Unfortunately, I have arrived too late, for something has already moved in. While I am a competent soldier, I have neither the skill nor the training to confront the numbers that reside in here. But you look capable enough, you go and do it. So I need to kill... you'll be seeing me jumping up there a lot because still not completely used to this new keyboard.
The dwarves of Moria had a rich history. Their scholars worked diligently, transcribing plans, tactics, and epic stories to parchment so that they might remember the past.
Alright, and here's a goblin. So it looks like the intruders are goblins today. So they can be goblins, they can be orcs, they can be... I forgot whether this one can have cave claws. I've seen cave claw, and I know that you can have Marivel in this one, and So therefore, you have different types of intruders you can get. And they're selected at random each time you go in, though the types that you have in a particular run will all be the same. In other words, I'm not going to get bats and goblins in the same one. The bats will only come with the what do you call those? There is bats and Marivel, and it's the male ones which have a slightly different name, so I can't remember it off the top of my head at the moment. The idea is that the type of intruder is the same throughout a particular run. So what you do there is you kill 20 of the intruders, whatever type they are for that day. You collect these books, which is for the pros they're seeking. You take a look at this globe, which has a crack in the middle of it because, well, that's a long story in the lore. Alright, so now we have it this way. So let's see how many of these. Now you can go into all the side passages to kill more goblins if you wish. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heading as fast as possible to the boss. If I get there before... Oops. If I get there and kill the boss before I have everything else I need, then I will go back and get them. So if you're really thorough, then you will go and can kill everything in here, which is a bit more. I think about twice as much as you need for the quest. And of course, if you're a scholar, you will want to pick up all the scholar nodes because, well, that's why you would want to be there. So I'm bypassing all the sage's lockers since I'm not a scholar. So therefore, I suspect this is one of those places where you're more likely to go extra times if you're a scholar. Now, it also gives you some tokens where you can get other materials for crafting, which is, of course, probably not much for me because I'm not much of a crafter. I'm mainly coming here to demonstrate what one of these are like, and so that we can say that we did it. At least demonstrate everything. Oh, you don't need to go into anti-exploit mode. You know that. You know it's rarely gauche to go into anti-exploit mode. It's exploitive to go into anti-exploit mode. That's it. Yes, it's exploitive, yes. I sometimes call anti-exploit mode monster exploit mode because I feel like the monsters are exploiting it. Occasionally they drop the pros. So the most reliable source is picking it up off the ground. Yeah, I didn't even have to go and fight them. So now I have 5 of them. And I'll probably run into a couple of them in the boss's room, so I shouldn't have too much trouble in getting all the pros I need. And I'm halfway through the intruders. Alright, so the light of the entrance fades as you enter unknown, so it's saying it's getting darker here. Oh, what a big surprise. Alright, here we go. And the goblins are going to be down. So you see they're all goblins here. Alright, here's our 6th piece of pros. And this floor is in better shape than most others I've seen. It's definitely in pretty good shape. Well, you know, except for that rubble there, but amazing what the dwarves can build that it looks this good after all these years, especially with these goblins in here. Still doesn't look as splendid as it looked in the days of Durin. You really think you're going to do much to me all the way down there? Fine. Whack. Survived it! He survived it! Are you kidding me? There are usually two types of mobs in these things. Maybe sometimes three, but usually I see two types of mobs. In this case, it's the raiders, the fat goblins, and the ransackers, the skinny goblins. And they're currently level 57 for this, which is the... Though there are two of them at every set. Uh-oh. If for the scholar, for example, there's one for each of them. There are two. One at level 53. And one at level 58. Or is it 57? They used to be at 58 and... They used to be at level 58 and 60. Then they lowered the levels during the Moria revamp. Now there is a bug with this particular one, the level 53 instance, where some of the bats, if you get the one with the bats and Morvel in it, are at level 58 still. They still haven't lowered them, and it's really annoying. And if you are a couple of levels above this one, if you're level 55 or something like that, that's no trouble. But if you're level 53, or even worse, level 52, and you're trying to do the instance and you get the bats, well, for me, I just leave it and don't bother. See, and I'm at 18, so I'm very definitely going to be finishing all of the intruders. And it looks like I've already finished the pros. Now, the third one, since I haven't been killing the boss, it's not showing... Where do they show up in Under Mori? Yeah. The third one doesn't show up up here automatically, since you have to defeat the leader, and since you don't do anything to do that, we're getting close to the boss room. And since you don't do anything with the leader until, of course, you finish it, it doesn't pop up until you kill the boss. And the other thing that's on here, though, is your timer. Say how much time is left. In which case I've got a little bit under... Oh, that's right. Okay, this guy also has bats, but I was talking about no bats with goblins. I forgot that the boss has bats in it, but I didn't mean... But the Morville have bats all over the place. But yes, you do have those harassing goblins who bring a massive bats with them, and the boss in this one is of that type. I had forgotten about that. Been a little while since I've done this instance. Now let's see if I do this right, because if I do this right, I could get... Well, okay, I will of course get the bats. Alright, good. Now I got the bats down. So now I'll take care of the boss. And this will take care of everything. So we have one for scholars, or yeah, one for scholars, one for foresters, and one for prospectors. Yeah, I might as well take care of one more goblin, even though I'm done with it since I've finished all 3 quests. There's one of each for each of those 3. No, there isn't one for farmers. I remember once seeing a request for that, but let's face it, farmers don't really need a resource instance to get their stuff. I mean, what are you going to find in there? Seeds? Now, it would be nice if they did have a couple of quests that related to farming or something like that, with the number of farmers that I have, but going into a place to hunt for resources for farming just doesn't sound right. And if you get one that has non-humanoids, of course, you can get... Oh, I got a key from that. Oh, I just made friend with the Iron Garrison. Alright, completed friend with the Iron Garrison miners. How about that? So you do get regular drops from treasures, and sometimes that can be hides if you're going to get something that's a beast type. Well, that completes the instance there, so let's leave the instance. You could either leave instance, or you could just go down to the bottom and leave that way through the way you came in. And we did that with 47 minutes to spare. No problem at all.
Dwarves must fight for dwarves.
You have returned with the glow of victory about you. This is good. We will certainly have an easier time of this within Macam now that the ranks of the enemy are in disarray. Alright. So now the
time has come to drive forth the orcs from our
regular
kingdom.
mobs. You certainly have a handy one to have around when skulls and shells need to be cracked. I will give you that. As I promised you, here is your compensation for your efforts. Now, don't look at me like I've shortchanged you. Given my own competency in combat, I am certain I will have additional opportunities to hire you in the future. Alright? Finally, the comfort of words, the prose.
time has come to drive forth the orcs from our kingdom.
The dwarves of Khazad-dûm had an interesting sense of timing. While it is different from what I expected, I am still heartened to see that the wealth of artistic writing you have found within the Meccan Faham. As I promised, here is your reward. It is not a fine copy of a great dwarf playwright's work, but it is something you could find useful if you have enough of them. So here they gave me, for each of those 3 quests, an Iron Garrison resource token. And I can, it says it'll unlock again. I could go in again tomorrow with another distraction.
The shadow
I could
of
barter
Mordor
for
will
this.
not
I could
long
either
fill
get
the
it.
halls of Khazad-dûm.
I can get a key which can open up this resource cache, which if I needed resources I could do. I could get heritage runes, so I can get one for 10,000 IXP for this. And I could get piles of particular crafting items. But I need 6 of them for that. Probably won't get 6. And here, this elf, don't ask me why there's a Galathreme here.
Is there aught which you need?
I can get a gold leaf of Lorien inside this also if I want to start collecting gold leaves. I suspect I'm not going to be needing too much in the way of gold leaves on this character. So let me get
These
the
halls will be great once more.
10,000 heritage rune. If I expected to do many more of these instances, I probably would have saved them up for now. But that is enough for there. I'll meet you now in the Chamber of Crossroads in the next episode of Pine Leaf Plays, the Rune-keeper.